Hello, everyone. Today, we're going to be talking about adding transitions. So, we've discussed basically how to start your essay with a hook and a thesis statement. And then we talked about topic sentences, adding examples, and using specific language. But while you're doing that, you still need to be considering transitions. So, how many of you use these transition words? Maybe you use the word first, second, third, lastly, to begin with, to conclude, or my first reason, my second reason, my third reason, one reason is, things like that. How many of you use those? Well, if you do, stop. Please stop. This just makes it sound like you're listing things. It doesn't sound like you're actually writing. When you write to somebody, you almost want it to sound more like a conversation, not a laundry list. Also, we never, ever say my first reason is or one reason is. You just, as a good writer, will start bridging these transitions from one idea to the next. We're not listing things. So they don't add strength to our writing, and they make our writing sound like we're listing off ideas rather than explaining them. So what we need to do is pump up our writing, because transitional words and phrases are included in the work of successful writers to help bridge and connect paragraphs and or supporting details. So what that means is you're using transition words not to say first I do this, second you do this, third you do this. Instead, you want to use them in between paragraphs. So to go from one paragraph to the next, either end or begin or do both with a transitional word or phrase. And then within your paragraphs, you would actually use transitions as well, and not ones like first, second, third, last. You don't do that. So where in your writing do you think you should add transitions based off of what we just learned? So, transitional words and phrases may be placed at the beginning of paragraphs to help transitions from paragraph to paragraph, inside the paragraph to help transitions from one supporting detail to another. So maybe you have one example or explanation, add a transition before your second. Or inside paragraphs to help elaborate upon supporting details. So words like additionally or therefore, those are types of words that you'd use inside paragraphs. So along with that, watch out for transitional overload. So we definitely want to be specific in the placement and the application of our transitional words and phrases, but not every idea or sentence needs to begin with one of our transitional phrases. So while no transitions really hurt your writing, too many transitions also hurt your writing. Another thing to understand, transitional words and phrases are not a one size fits all. It's not like you can just use the same transition every single time in every single essay. So different transitional phrases and terms belong in specific areas of writing and serve distinct jobs. So each transitional phrase is used for different things. So you need to go to Google Classroom and look out for a list of our transitional phrases and how they can be used, because we can use them to indicate more information. So we've already talked about some of that, like in addition, additionally, in fact, or moreover, also, together with, equally important or similarly, are ones that would show how to add more information. You could indicate that you're giving an example. You could say, for example, or for instance, or specifically, or to demonstrate, things like that. You can use them to show how things cause and effect. So due to blank, and then tell me what happens. Or for the reason that blank happens, this will happen because of that. Or since blank, then blank. Or as a result is another one to show cause and effect. You can compare and contrast. So you can say, although this happens, something else. Or however is another one, in comparison. Likewise, on the other hand. They can show time and sequence. You can say at the same time, or meanwhile, or later, or soon after. Those all are transitional phrases to show time and sequence. And then finally, one of the ones that you're probably already familiar with are transitional phrases that conclude. So maybe a lot of times we use this for our last paragraph. So you might say like, therefore, and tell me, or in conclusion, which isn't necessarily the best transitional phrase because it's such an overload. It's used way too many times. So therefore, finally, altogether, furthermore, or overall are really good concluding phrases for transitions. You could use in conclusion or to sum up, but they are used just maybe a little too often. So keep that in mind. Check out Google Classroom and see how we can use transitional phrases and find a complete